Since it's a rainy day, I'm going to do what I usually do and spend some time in my kitchen baking and doing some prep for the week. And I wanted to talk about one of the easiest and best ways to get a hold on your finances, and that is cooking from scratch. That's making as much as you can from scratch to save money at the grocery store. I like to heavily rely on whole grains. They're relatively inexpensive, especially if you buy them in bulk. And I also like to make things like simple syrups, like this is a vanilla syrup. And the reason I like to do that is because, like, maple syrup from the store is so expensive, and if you do the nutritional value, if you get a good quality sugar that's raw and has a lot of the molasses still in there, it's not a huge difference in the nutritional value. And so I buy bulk sugar. I'm going to show you in just a little bit the kind that I get. But first, I made my simple syrup, and now I'm going to make some granola, really simple granola. I'm almost out of my Bob's Red Mill Oats that I got on sale a few months ago, and I'll be back to rolling my own oats. But this was such a good deal. I had to buy it because we use them a lot. So it's really simple. You buy whole ingredients instead of prepackaged and pre-made foods, and you make all these things from scratch. And what happens is, like with granola, instead of buying a bag of granola, I bought a bag of these oats, a bag of coconut, and some other few things, and I end up getting several batches of granola out of what I would have only got from one bag at the store. Taking a quick break, I had a really cool opportunity to do a class at my local library on making sourdough, and out of that I have 3 more speaking engagements coming up, because in my community I didn't realize how much everybody wanted to learn about sourdough, and there are also a lot of them wanting to learn about fresh milk flour. And so I was like, yes, of course I will do this, because I want everybody to get involved in doing this. And we had so much fun. There was a really good sized crowd. I made samples of sourdough chocolate chip cookies, and we just had a really fun afternoon. And I was able to connect with some local people and get them started on their sourdough journey. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't realize this was something that even that was even something I would want to do. And it turns out that I do. So I want to throw that in there. If you are really, really into sourdough, you may want to check in to see if you can do these classes, and you'd be surprised how many people want to get involved in sourdough. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. Okay, back to making everything from scratch. So for this granola, I keep a big bottle of organic olive oil on hand. So I had that on hand. I keep bulk salt on hand. So I have tons of that. I keep oat groats, which I can roll, but in this case I had some that I had bought a few months ago. I buy a few bags of shredded coconut, especially when it goes on sale. and I put it in my pantry. I have the simple syrup that I made for pennies. I mean, it was so inexpensive to make, and I use it in so many of my recipes. And this batch of granola, which is 3 cups of oats and half a cup of coconut, 6 tablespoons of olive oil, and 6 tablespoons of sweetener, a pinch of salt, and some cinnamon, will last me nearly 2 weeks in my pantry. And I, of course, have not broke down exactly how much it costs to make, but I can assure you that it is crazy less expensive than buying the pre-made good quality, because we're using really good quality ingredients here, good quality granola from the store. It's amazing at the money that you can save. I know a lot of people struggle with their budget, and when you finally get on the budget that works for you so that you can save money and that you can actually save some money, you learn what is worth buying and what's not worth buying. For me, that has turned out to be things like you all know well: wheat berries, good quality raw sugars, salt, grains such as rice, quinoa, millet. Also, I like to keep on hand a lot of dried beans and things like that, because it's such a cheap dish to make. And so for me, it just makes sense to do this, and I can tell you that the dividends have shown themselves. I have saved so much money by making these things from scratch, and they're really easy to make. So I'm making a super easy tortilla recipe here that is, I mean, it couldn't be easier. It's just a couple cups of fresh milled flour. I used hard white wheat, a little bit of baking soda, some olive oil, and salt. And then I'm going to put some boiling water in there. And that's it. I mean, per tortilla is probably less than $1. I know it is. It's like cents. And they're so easy to make. Things like homemade pasta, homemade mayonnaise, things like that are so easy to make and cost a fraction of what you would pay for them at the store. So think tortillas. Look at the bag of your favorite tortillas. There are probably upwards of 20 to 30 ingredients. And I just used a few ingredients here, and I made some amazing tortillas that were so easy to make. If you just think ahead a little bit, you can make a huge dent in your grocery bill. If you work full time, you can take a day, like a Saturday afternoon, and just do some prep, and you'll be ready for the week. You can make up 2 or 3 batches of these tortillas and freeze them. And then you have them on hand, and you don't have to worry about spending money at the grocery store, plus all of those added ingredients. And if you use fresh milled flour, you are feeding your family not just a homemade tortilla. You are feeding your family something that makes a huge difference in the nutrition of their food. And so I look at it as, when you cook from scratch, it's not just about saving money. It's about adding that critical nutrition that we miss so much when we buy the prepackaged foods. And so I like to let my tortilla dough rest for just a little bit before I roll them up. Here's that granola. So good. I bake mine at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for an hour and 15 minutes, and it gets so crispy. And it's just delicious. And look how much comes out of this batch, and think how much I would have spent if I bought really high quality organic granola out of the store, I mean, it would have been a huge expense. But because I took a few minutes to put this together in a bowl, put it in the oven, and just forget about it until it was done, I'm saving quite a bit of money. And so now I'm going to work on these tortillas. But think about it like this. We all, I think, can agree that everything is higher than it's ever been. Groceries are higher. Our energy bills are really higher than they used to be. And I think that we have to take it upon ourselves to decide, how are we going to combat this? How are we going to make a difference so that we can still save money and not feel like that we are just struggling to get from month to month? And I have to be honest, the groceries is one of the biggest ways that we have learned that we can save a lot of money, especially in the summer when we put out some plants, tomatoes and peppers and onions and different things like that, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower. We really don't spend very much at all at the grocery store. We'll spend a little bit more in the winter because we may run out of potatoes from the year before or something like that. But our grocery bill is one of the lowest monthly expenses that we have, because I order a lot of this stuff in bulk that will last me like a year, even more. And so I buy it once and I don't have to buy it again for a long time, because it doesn't really go bad, like wheat berries and oat groats and salt and sugar and things like that. It's not like it's going to go bad. And so I just like to keep it on hand. And if there are, say, weeks, maybe we get sick and we can't get to the grocery store for a couple of weeks, I keep things like powdered milk on hand so that we will still have milk. I can make my yogurt and things like that. And we don't really skip a beat. And we could go, I mean, I've thought about doing kind of a challenge on myself. How long can we go without going to the grocery store? And I've done that once before, but I mean, it's something I really want to try again. We could go a long time without going to the grocery store. We only go for things that are more wants and not really things that we need, like my local store sells grass-fed milk, and I like to buy that, and grass-fed butter and things like that. But it's not a have to. It's just something that I enjoy buying, and I can definitely go a while and I wouldn't have to buy it. Now, last week I showed you those einkorn tortillas, or not tortillas, I'm sorry, bagels. I made them this week with spelt, and oh wow, with spelt they were even puffier and even better. And so this is on repeat right now in my kitchen. My husband says, I love these. You should make them every week. And so I've been making them. And I have to tell you, with the spelt, they were even better than the einkorn as far as the rise. And I know that has a lot to do with spelt does have a little bit more of a gluten structure, stronger gluten structure than the einkorn, but they were just so puffy and so good. And we ate on these all week and made egg salad and tuna salad, and we just enjoyed them so much. So I hope that this can be a reminder that even when things look like really, maybe you're struggling with your monthly grocery bill, or you're struggling with other bills, and you want to find ways to cut so that you can save some money. I hope that by showing you this, that you will see that you can definitely make a difference in your grocery bill. I know that since I started cooking everything from scratch, it has been the biggest saver in our home. There are lots of other ways that we save by hanging our clothes in line and different things like that. But I want to show you this sugar real quick. It's sucanat it's kind of granulated, and it is the rawest form of sugar that you can get, and so that's what I like to use. But if you are opposed to using sugar, then you can buy bulk honey, and it will last forever. It doesn't go bad. And so there are other things that you can use. Look at these bagels. These are spelt, using the exact same recipe as the einkorn. Look how puffy they got. They were absolutely delicious, and I will be making these on the regular in my home because we love them. They make the best sandwiches. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this week's video, and I will see you next week.